showdown. It's a showdown. Oh, hey guys, what's going on, everybody? Hey. It is officially time. It is another Siser After Dark. It's 7 p.m. Eastern time right now, or 5 wherever you are, maybe 4 or 3 or 6 or whatever. Even if you're here late at night, I know that we also have some of our friends over from across the water that's joining us this morning. So for anybody overseas right now, good morning to you as well as you're starting to get up. And thank you for hanging out with us this week. This is an exciting one because as you can see by the setup that I have here, hold on, let me turn my handy dandy. Oh, I've been timing myself this entire time. My handy dandy timer as well. We are going to be getting into a pretty highly requested live video. We have the video up on YouTube. You guys have been asking for a long time, almost since the day we got this cutter developed. And so now it is time to do the ultimate cutter showdown between not only the Juliet, our lovely Juliet in the background, but also our friends, the Silhouette and the Bug. You know, listen, at the end of the day, these cutters are great for all use cases, and we're going to hopefully be able to identify that together today while we're doing all of this testing, and hopefully it gives you a lot of knowledge on for yourself if you are shopping around, or maybe right now you're just dipping a little pinky toe, just dangling it into the water on the side of the pool of what cutter is right for you. We're going to hopefully be able to answer that. But as you guys know, we have people in the comments chiming in. We got people everywhere that are able to also answer some of those questions. We might even have some of you guys in here that are Cricut or Silhouette users, Juliet users. So I want you to be honest with me. So the first thing that I'm going to ask you guys in prompt today is I want you to be honest. Let me know in the comments. You either say Cricut, Silhouette, or Juliet, whatever cutting system you currently use, okay? Not which one you're shopping for, not which one you've used in the past and maybe you don't want to use it anymore. What are you currently using in your shop every day, in your home, in your basement, wherever you're decorating? I want to know what you're using because this is going to be a very fun test, a couple of tests for us to do together, and we're going to hopefully explore some results as well at the same time. So look, we already got some people, Juliet and Romeo, Silhouette, Anne loves it. I love that, Suzanne. Cricut, Juliet, scan and cut. Oh, we got a scan and cut. By the way, for any of our scan and cut people out there, I've gotten a few requests to also do a review over on the scan and cut in comparison. I promise you, I am going to do the best that I can to learn the software as quickly as I can at a very basic level, like I wanted to make sure we had for these tests. And we're going to try to do maybe an updated comparison with some of the other cutters. We also have a Romeo. So maybe we should be doing like a Romeo Graphtech Roland showdown. We'll see. We'll see whatever happens next. But for any of my scan and cut folks, just know that we are going to be working with that at some point here in the near future. So you can definitely keep an eye out. But there's a ton of people. Team Silhouette, I love it. You got Cricut, you got everything. I love it. Okay, so with that, hold on, here we go. Also, Patrick, is that a little tiny Siser logo I see on your shirt somewhere? Listen, this is, okay. Johan, just in case you're watching, I am wearing Siser stuff. This is actually a DTF transfer with mixed media. This is Strip Flock and Puff. So technically, I'm wearing Siser stuff today. So don't get me. Anyway, with that, let's go around the room really quickly. Just who's here. We also have a ton of people chiming in the comments. And then we're going to get started on some of this testing. I'm going to give you some of the why or the lead up to how this testing started. So without further ado, we, you know him, the grammatical gatekeeper himself, the salt in the syllables. I mean, literally the mafia boss of everything grammatical here at Siser. You know him. You read his stuff all the time, but it's our very own Adam Sneath. Say hi, Adam.
Mafia boss. That's a new one.
Listen, mafia. I was trying to find a cool, like, salt in the syllables, grammatical gatekeeper, mafia, mayhem, something or another.
I'll take it.
We'll chat GPT it later. It's fine. Anyway, with that, we also have, you guys know her. You guys obviously know her from every live we have. The maestro of the evening. It's our very own Anna. Say hi, Anna. Okay, so full disclosure, Anna's not here today. So standing in her place is going to be, well, she's actually at home watching us right now. But we are going to not be using Anna's name at all for the duration of this live. Instead of Anna, we are going to give a shout out to Anna's friend watching, Emily, right now. So everything's going to be, we're coming to you, Emily, for questions. So I hope you're ready to answer some of the comments. But nevertheless, got a ton of people over in the comments for you to answer any of your questions. So feel free to ask away. Now, let's get into what we're going to be doing today. So we're testing some pretty simple files, okay? What I wanted to do is I wanted to take Leonardo Design Studio, Cricut Design Space, and Silhouette Studio and use the basic free versions of all three, right? So my big point to that is that I want to make sure that you as an end user says runs out of the kitchen. Okay, so Emily, if you're running out of the kitchen, you might as well stay in another room and just listen in because I'm coming to you. Promise you. So anyway, with Cricut, with Silhouette, and with our own here with the Juliet, I wanted to take you back to being a brand new user and just opening the box and getting started. Because most of you guys usually will try the software out first. You're getting the basic versions of everything. We're not spending premium money yet until we decide that it's right for us. So I wanted to see right out of the box how well it can print, how well it can cut, how well it can actually cut files with intricate pieces and detail and all that stuff. So we're going to get a mixed bag of results. Now I will say for this particular live itself, I'm also using Siser Easy Weed for all of these. Just to keep it consistent. And for any of my matless cutters, either on the Cricut or the Juliet, I'm also going to keep everything on a mat. I want to keep everything apples to apples comparison. All my designs are the exact same size. They're the exact same files. Even distance between the designs are all identical. I want to keep this as fair and transparent as possible for all three cutters, because at the end of the day, all three cutters can help you. We know some can improve your workflow, some can hinder your workflow. You guys have some of these at home, so you already know what works and what doesn't. But this is just hopefully to give you enough information that when you're ready to purchase, or maybe you're thinking about purchasing today, you have it. So for the first test, what we're basically going to do is we're just going to do an overall speed test. Okay, I have two files, and I'm going to bring you right into Leonardo over at, right now I'm in Silhouette Studio, and I have the same two files loaded up in Silhouette Studio. I also have these two files organized in Cricut Design Space and ready to get over and send. So we're going to actually click on mat so that we're on a mat for this one. Oop, not my print and cut. We don't want that. We want these two files, which it already looks like we're coming into our first little stopper where Cricut does treat elements all to be kind of separated. And we'll try to separate and almost nest those on your mat. So what I'm going to do for this first one, I didn't want to show you the print and cut just yet because I want to do this one together here. So we're going to actually go ahead and delete that for a second. I'm just going to grab my entire design and I'm going to, let's go ahead and just group all this together and let's see if this will not separate everything for me. Still giving me some separation. So I'm going to hit cancel one more time. As you can see too, I just want to throw this in while I'm fixing this. Leonardo, we are already loaded up. I also use a 16 by 20 artboard, so that's why this looks a little bit smaller in comparison. But if I were to click cutting mat and then bring on just a 12 by 12 cutting mat, throw my images right there on top of it, you can see it's the same exact size as everything else. So what we're going to do is we're going to load this cut file up into the Juliet, get it ready to and primed and ready to cut. We're going to also do the same thing for Cricut and for Silhouette. The nice thing is, I will say about all three machines, Silhouette, you send your designs, you load your mat, send your design from your software. For the Cricut, you're actually clicking a start button directly on the machine. And the Juliet has a combination of both. You can either send directly from your software, or if you've already run a cut file, you can just use the play button on your machine itself to actually repeat that cut file multiple times. So advantages already and disadvantages. Cricut, it just loads it up. You can click your button, it auto loads your mat. Juliet, you have a lot of freedom with where you can place your blade and where you can position your mat, whether on or off the mat. And then with Silhouette, you're sending directly from your software, but it does auto load and auto feed that mat for you. So with that, let's go ahead really quickly. Sorry. I'm just going in right now and I'm just making sure that I can fix that one file for us. Let's go to flatten, get everything out. Oop, not that, sorry. All right, we're going to go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to do combined weld. All right. There's that on a mat. And okay. So what I'm noticing right now with Cricut, and this is just from me doing this right off the rip, is that it's still not uploading both. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send both of these separate, although it's showing me these are both connected. We're good. All right, let me hit one more time and see if this will give us what we need. Make sure that they're both there. We go. Okay, So now we're good with the Cricut. We have our Cricut mat loaded up and ready to go. Our silhouette mat is just sitting there saying like, hey man, I'm ready for you to send whenever. And our Juliet mat is ready to rock and roll. Let's go ahead and hit send design here, and then we'll get that loaded. Oops, I got to actually weld those two together too. Look at me, I'm messing up all these files today, guys, already, right off the rip. Okay, so I have my Juliet cut file ready to go. I'm going to get this Cricut mat ready to process. So right now what it's doing is we're hitting continue. It's finding my cutting machine via Bluetooth, or not Bluetooth, but USB. So I have everything connected via USB connection. So it's just easier for us to operate. In Cricut Design Space, because I'm using on a mat and I'm also using regular Easy Weed, I'm going to hit just everyday iron on. And then nice thing is too, I will say about Cricut is it lets you know, hey, make sure that you mirror your designs. Like if you haven't already, this is a heat transfer everyday iron on material. Make sure that you're actually mirroring everything. And we're going to keep the pressure to default and use the standard settings in each of these machines. So right now it's just basically telling me over on our 3 cutters here. So my Cricut is ready to load the mat up. That one's ready to go. The next one that I'm going to get into is I'm going to go over to the Silhouette Studio. I'm going to highlight my design, make sure everything is set up and ready to send. And then over on the Juliet, I'm going to also be able to send that file on over as well. So here's what we're going to do. Because the YouTube video is out and I know some of the results and how they happen, what I'm going to actually do is send the Silhouette first, okay? And then I'm going to try simultaneously to send the Cricut and the Juliet at the same time. So I might have a special helper that's helping me out with this one today. Landon, do you want to help me really quick? Okay, cool. Come on. You can come help me with this. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead. You can say hi. Say hi to the people.
Hi.
Hey, everybody. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to load up this Cricut mat with our material, and I'm going to actually do it this way because I already ran a little cut on this side. There we go. So this one is ready to go. Do you remember how to load that thing like I showed you? Cool. And then what I want to do too is we want to eliminate, for anybody watching, I'm just pulling it back to eliminate any additional bubbles that the material has because I don't want to affect the cut in any way, shape, or form. All right, there we go. Cool, so you can load that one up. Let me get the Silhouette mat ready to go. And then we will be able to send all 3 of these. So I am cutting on 12 by 12 cutting mats for everything. That one's loaded up, cool. And then just wait for that play button before we hit play. Go ahead on our Silhouette and load this one up. Yeah, each of these are being cut, again, on a 12 by 12 cutting mat with just the same 12 by 12 sheet of material. Same Easy Weed, and I'm using just the color gray for this one just to make it simple. But while we're actually loading this up, Adam, do we have any questions coming in or anything right now? This one I'll load.
Not at the moment,
okay.
But lots of people are saying hi, Landon.
Hi, everybody.
All right, cool. We put these right over on that table. Just the tops, yeah, and then take this one too. Awesome sauce. Thank you, dude. I appreciate it. Okay, and then for the Juliet, we're just going to load that one like we normally would. The bottom left. All right. Are you going to do, will you do the, you can click the Cricut button for me and then you can do the timer. Will that work? Okay, hold on. Let me get this loaded up first and then we'll be ready. You can tap that. Scroll it up.
We do have a question that just popped in.
Yeah, ask away.
Which Cricut are you using for the comparison?
Ooh, that's a really good question to ask, actually. The Cricut that I'm using, so we're using the Cameo 5 and we're using the Cricut Explorer 4. So we're using the newer Explorer for the Cricut. And then we're also using the Cameo 5, the Silhouette Cameo 5. And then obviously the Juliet, this is the only version of the Juliet that we're using. All right, so we're gonna go ahead, make sure that's set. I just wanna make sure my standard cut setting is already up. So that one's ready to go. The Cricut's ready to go and the Silhouette's ready to go. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and click send on the Silhouette. And then at the same time, Landon and I, he's gonna click the go button on the Cricut and we're gonna make the Juliet take off as well. And then he'll go ahead and hit the start button at the same time. So first thing we're going to do, you ready to hit the start button by itself first? Don't hit the Cricut yet, just the start button. Okay. Ready? And then 1, 2, and 3. Cool. So that one's good. You can go ahead and hit the play button on that Cricut. And I'm going to send this one on off to the Juliet. And just like that, we are now started here. Let's back out of the way so that everybody can kind of see. And you guys ask away any questions that you do have as these are going. I know that it's a little bit loud when we have all three machines going at the same time. So I'm hoping that you guys can hear. But right now, we are basically just utilizing as much space as we can and also as fast as we can definitely try to push these machines as it goes through its test as well. Adam, we got anything coming up? That's perfect.
Well, just one to clarify. That is the Explorer 4, not the Maker 4.
Correct. That is the Explorer 4, not the Maker 4. The next round of comparison tests that I want to do is on the Maker 4 as well, because as we know with Cricut, and that's the other thing too to kind of talk about as we're getting into the testing a little bit more. I'll try to move out of the way when the tests are done. With the Cricut Maker, that any of the Maker series, you usually open up a lot of your accessories, right? That's where you have some adaptable accessories. Even with the Explorer series, you have marker adapters, pen adapters, and different types of cutting blades and things like that. With the Silhouette, same thing. You have an auto blade for that particular machine, but you also have some adapters, and then there's some third-party stuff that are out in the market. Whereas the Juliet, being newer, we have a blade, we have a marker adapter for our sublimation markers, as well as a couple other types of blades, being an etching tool, an engraving tool, as well as our deep cut blade, and more tools and things to come. We just did our last After Dark on cutting everything other than HTV and doing things other than HTV. And one thing that I found out, which was a really fun one, is being able to use the actual blade housing that we have for skinnier markers. So that kind of got the team thinking a little bit of like, hey, how do we get an adapter out there into the world and how do we start to examine it? So just know that because you guys tell us and say, hey, you know, we need this tool or we need this option for a cutter, we're listening all the time and we're trying to adapt these machines as well. But again, full transparency, right? We're going to find out which one is faster, which one is stronger, and which one ultimately is better for you. All right, Adam, what's up?
Which one is the loudest?
Ooh, okay. So we did the side-by-side test over on our YouTube channel at Siser North America on YouTube. There is a side-by-side comparison of all three machines in which we did a sound test. And it was actually pretty astonishing. I mean, we knew that the Juliet would be the quietest, but between the Cricut and the Silhouette, we're actually a lot closer in decibels than we thought they would be. However, Silhouette still remains the loudest out of the three.
Got one more for you.
Yeah.
When you have a free moment, can you show us how you change the size of the artboard?
Oh, the actual size of the cutting mat itself and artboard? Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Right now, we got the test going. It looks like Cricut and the Juliet are slowly getting to the finish line here. So we're going to see which one finishes first. Landon, what I need you to do is as soon as the first one stops, just hit the lap button because we want to see all three times. All right, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to go ahead back into Leonardo for you. And over on the artboard and cutting mat menu is where we can change things like from a cutting mat to a material roll, as well as adjust or change any of our mat sizes. So from right now, or for right now in Leonardo Design Studio, we have a standard 12 by 12 cutting mat, 12 by 24 cutting mat. And then also we have a couple generic mats as well for folks that have either Cricut Joys, that they want to utilize that smaller cutting mat, or maybe you have 15-inch material still around and you want to use that that material. So really quick and easy ways to change, as well as when you're on a material roll. The nice thing is it's treated like a roll of vinyl. So I can go to 12 by 36 inches and do one entire yard of material with a couple clicks of a button right through Leonardo Design Studio. So it's a pretty cool thing to have, but that's the easy way to do it. Any other questions coming through? I did see somebody say, why don't we go with the Maker 4? Okay, I want to answer that question for you. So the Maker 4, the reason why we didn't choose that one is when they first came out, we were just getting whatever was available to us. And at the time, the Explorer 4 was available, and it's the most entry-level comparable in my head to actually be able to execute these types of tests. Now, I'm really excited, though, about the Maker 4, because as soon as we get one in-house, I really want to be able to test this up against the Juliet, because we do know that there's obviously some more tools and accessories, being the company has been around for so long. But for us, I really want to see from a standpoint of commercial printing and cutting how well that Maker can operate versus something like a Juliet. The weird thing is, too, I will say, when we do tests like this, the Juliet itself is more of a commercial cutter that's kind of fit into a craft cutter body, right? So we can stretch the limits of that a little bit more. So that's why, again, I'm excited about the Maker 4. At some point in time, we're going to get one in. At some point in time, I'm going to be able to test it. So any other big questions?
Can I use Leonardo with my scan and cut?
Dang, so that's one thing. Thank you for hitting that. That's one thing that I wish we could use Leonardo right now for other cutting machines and stuff like that. Maybe in the future. We've always talked about adding things like plugins for you folks that are using more of your art style graphic design suites like CorelDRAW and Adobe Illustrator and stuff like that. But you never know. I mean, that's the other thing too, is that you never know what we can kind of update or come up with that might actually help for you guys that are using other cutters. So don't throw away your cutter just yet. Obviously, you guys want to keep what's working, but hopefully at some point in time, we've adapted Leonardo to get to the point where we can use other cutters and stuff like that. All right. Any other questions coming in? Cool. All right. So far results are in. Landon's been watching these like a hawk, and he tapped the first two. So silhouette is still going right now, roughly. And you guys saw we were on like a couple second delay between the actual Juliet as well as the Cricut, because we kind of let the silhouette start first. But right now it looks like the Juliet finished with a total time of 4 minutes and 22 seconds. And then the Cricut so far has finished with a time of 5 minutes and 15 seconds for that same exact cut file that we just did. And right now the silhouette's still going, and we're right around the 6 minute and 40 second mark. And from the looks of it, it looks like it's getting close to being done. But as you can see right here, just from this 3 speed test, you can kind of see that the Juliet cut the fastest, the Cricut cut second fastest, and right now so far in our testing, it doesn't mean that we're out of the woods yet and that you know, one or the other is the right one for you, but as of right now, that's where we're at. Okay, let's see where we go from there. All right, can you stand off to the side really quick, because I want to be able to let them see all of these cutting in real time. What other questions do you guys have?
I saw one here. Yeah. Is Leonardo
free?
Sorry,
and by the way, hold on one second. Oh. Sorry if I sound like I'm yelling. You guys got to remember, I have a lav on and a silhouette next to me and 3 cutters going at one time. So I apologize if it sounds like I didn't mean like, what do you want? It's just asking more questions. Sorry, I had to clarify that, because sometimes these things can make it mean. That's your fault, Emily, at home watching us. I'm just kidding.
No, thank you for clarifying. I thought you were yelling at me specifically.
I didn't mean to do that.
Is Leonardo Design Studio free to download?
Yes. Yeah. The nice thing is all 3 of the softwares you can download for virtually free, as far as I'm aware. I mean, I downloaded Cricut Design Studio. I do have a Cricut Design a Cricut Design Space Pro account. Just family friends have that. For the silhouette, I was able to download that and pretty much use it right away with registering. But for us at Siser, you can go to www.siserna.com. You can click on the Leonardo Design Studio tab, and you can download it for absolutely for free. Let's see. Silhouette Studio software has been able to design everything I've tried. That's it. That's all you need, Susan. Like I said, sometimes we already have the right fit for us, but it's really cool. And also at the end of the day, regardless of the fun, it's still fun to see a side-by-side comparison of what's going on. Because for some of you out there, you're just a hobbyist, or for me, like I am, I'm just a hobbyist. I like doing this for fun, and I like doing it in my free time. For some of you, you're running an actual production shop, or you're running something where you need, you know, a little bit more out of each of your cutters. So that's the reason why we're doing this today. We want to make sure that we show you all 3 and how they compare, and then ultimately you can make the decision. So with that, thank you so much, Landon. I appreciate it. With that, we have the Juliet came out at a final time of 4 minutes, 22 seconds. And then the Cricut came out with a final time of 5 minutes and 15 seconds. And then it looks like the silhouette ended right about 8 minutes and 25 seconds, give or take a few. We're going to plus or minus a few seconds to click the button to start, and then also clicking the button to stop, and the lap times on there as well. All right, so for the first test, we've gotten that done. Now, the second part of this test is what we're going to have to do is see how all of these compare when weeding out the design, because we have 2 different types of cut files on here. Not only do we have one that is our bigger cut file, just to see how fast it could cut a full sheet from edge, almost edge to edge, but I also have a littler file over here that has some intricate designs in it, like you saw over on screen. So let's start weeding out our design, and then we'll see exactly where we fare. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll call you back in, Landon, if I need somebody else to press again, okay? Also, give it up. Give it up in the chat for Landon. Let's get some hearts in there. He did a good job. Okay. Yeah, go for it. I'm just cutting this out really quick to separate these two cuts.
So we're jumping ahead a little bit here with this question, but will you be comparing the print and cut size for each?
Ooh, the print cut. Yes, 100% we will be doing that for sure here in just a moment. So I just cut out my little intricate detail cut right there. And what we're going to do is we're just going to start with the overall larger cut just to see where we ended up at. And I'm going to go ahead and start just weeding away. And this one right here that we're using, I'm going to keep the mat in the frame too, so you can see this one is actually going to be the Cricut Explorer 4. So already I have tearing, but that's more material. I think that that's just because there's some thinner spots in here. And all I'm doing is I'm just kind of tearing everything off because I want to see what is actually cut well and stuck down to the mat, or I mean, stuck down to the carrier, and what is still not cut super well. And we should be able to identify that just by kind of going a little rogue and weeding kind of everywhere on here. All righty. I will say this: I was a Cricut user for a long time, and I still, every once in a great while, I have some files still in Cricut Design Space that I have to go back to because with the exporting and not being able to export out of Design Space, you know, it does force you to kind of go back in every once in a while. But for me, I've found a couple of ways to be able to get some of my files out of there if they are singular color, or if I'm able to break them down to single color, save them as a PNG, or just basically screenshot them, bring them into Leonardo, and I can convert those files over, which if you check out our After Dark where I go over print and cut, and I actually show you all of the print and cut on the Juliet and through Leonardo Design Studio, I talk about that a little bit and show you exactly how to take a single color file, convert it from a PNG into an actual cut file itself. So you got something coming in, Adam? Saw you leaning over there.
Well, Patrick B is asking if do you think Landon is going to be the next Siser on-screen start?
I mean, that's up to him. I don't know. He has been talking about for a long time doing YouTube stuff, and you know he gets an opportunity to see me do this kind of stuff sometimes. So he definitely is into. I will say he from like, I don't know, 8 years old, he was like kind of editing loosely in CapCut and just kind of putting little shots together and stuff. And then as he's gotten a little older, like he's getting really, really good at it, really proficient. So you never know with that kid. There we go. Right now he's focused on school and baseball. That's his things right now. And drawing. He's doing he's doing some kind of artwork out there. Maybe at the end we'll have to do a cameo if he's done coloring his picture out there. All righty. So looks like here, weeding through this, everything looks like it's pretty much intact. Don't really have any lifting or any tearing or anything like that. I do see a couple of spots on here where, you know, I just missed some cavities and it ripped. But again, that's because some of the thinner spots in this design, you know, could warrant my material to be a little thin and as you're tearing it. So I'm just kind of giving it a little look-see here. I don't see that I'm missing anything. So cool. All right. So this is how Cricut fared. It cut everything out pretty well. We didn't have any problems. Sorry for this little cut thing in here. I had an old piece of material. I grabbed these things over from all my storage, and I had a little cut file on there still. So that right there is our Cricut in the big cut. So now let's move on to the intricate cut really quick and see how it did on a little bit smaller cavities and a little sharper edges. And this is kind of a little floral design as well. That's meant to be more of a monogram. We're going to go ahead and rip that off. So the outside contour, I mean, with anything, I would expect it to do pretty well. And let's see. What did Yohan say in there?
He says he likes that for a summer project.
Ooh, all right. I'll make you a shirt, Yogi. I got you. I got you, man. All right. So right now I'm seeing that there's really nothing too crazy coming up, but I am having a couple of little tiny spots in some of the smaller cavities where it's not that it didn't cut it, but it almost didn't complete the entire shape. So it's like started in one spot and then it ended in a weird spot. So it's pulling for me just a little bit. But for the most part, overall, this seems like this is cutting pretty decent. That looks like that's good. That's good. And then, okay, right there is where I can see it now. Hold on one second. So right here, there's a little spot where it looks like it's stuck to the actual material itself. So sometimes you just got to give it a little separation, kind of saw it down, and then just go slow around those cavities. But there's one little tiny spot in here. It just seems like it either the material bunched at that moment or something happened to where it didn't cut it all the way. So that's okay though. For the most part, 99.9% of this is doing well. That's that side, and this is basically duplicated on this side too. So we'll get through these little intricate cuts as we get through each of these. But for the most part, I'm gonna say Cricut didn't do too bad. With the standard cut settings, everyday iron on, you know, most of your normal heat transfer materials are right around the same thickness as far as the actual skin itself. The only big difference, as some of you Cricut folks know in the group or that are watching right now, is that with the Cricut Smart material, and there's another distinction on why I'm using just regular EasyWeed to keep it all comparable. In the YouTube video, if you want to see what the cut results were with Cricut Smart material from not only the Cricut and the Silhouette and the Juliet, you can definitely go over to our YouTube channel at Siser North America, and you can see the full test where I'm actually utilizing some of that Cricut Smart material. But the big difference between that and a normal heat transfer vinyl like that we have here in an EasyWeed is that they've actually made the carrier of it a lot thicker. So it's basically like cutting on a cutting mat anyway, even though you're cutting technically off of a mat. So whatever that means for the premium price of the material, I guess that's what you get from it. So let's move on over to the Silhouette. And let's go ahead, and I'm just going to move this mat over so that we can bring, the right mat into frame. I have a feeling Silhouette's going to do okay as well. Go ahead and cut around both of those pieces of the design. And then let me cut out that little fine detail. Alrighty. Maybe Emily can chime in on her experience with heat transfer vinyl while we're all hanging out watching me weed away. Let's see, some HTVs weed way better. Yeah, Kim, that's a great point. Some HTVs just definitely weed a lot better. But you know, like I said, when you're adding elements and things like that to your mat, whether you're thickening it or you're making the skin of the material a little bit thicker, you know, it's just helping out the machine, but it also doesn't allow you to really get the greatest results from all materials all the time. So that's what we're hopefully getting to do here. Still haven't tried the Siser EasyWeed tool. Ooh, Kristen Senshi, you follow us. You haven't used the Easy Weeder yet? This thing is literally, I think this is a fan favorite, and it's definitely a company favorite. If you ask anybody what their favorite Siser tool is, most of them will say the Easy Weeder, or Siser product, should I say. Because it's super universal. You can use it to weed out material. You can use it to pick stuff out of your carpet. You can use it to pick your teeth. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with it. It's really just a multi-versatile tool, Adam. Adam, what software and like what cutter did you start with, or did you not have any experience with these before you started at Siser?
So when I started at Siser, I had zero experience.
Okay.
I was actually trained on a Roland, I believe.
Yeah.
And then down the line, I got I want to say Cameo 3 for at home.
Okay.
To be honest, I didn't like it.
Okay.
I did not craft very much.
But then, also too, you weren't a like everyday user though, right? So
correct.
Okay, just to clarify for the folks.
Yes, I was not your everyday crafter, and I was very much used to the commercial cutter side of things. And then when Juliet came along, it was kind of like, you know, that the bridge the gap between the two.
It's like a hybrid.
And that's what I use I'd say on a weekly basis these days at home.
Nice. Yeah, I know there's a lot of us, we all come from different walks of life, right? As far as like what cutting machines we've learned and cut our teeth in are with and all of that kind of stuff. And definitely for me, it was when I first started at Siser, I was a diehard Cricut user. My wife and I ran a business for a long time, and we also struggled through, like some of you guys know, from a company support standpoint, as well as like a material standpoint or product support, at least for us personally. That's more of a personal story or opinion on it. But you know, when I got into the commercial world, it's kind of the same thing. And that I call that the Brett Murray special. He was like, as soon as I started, Brett's like, learn this big cutter. I was like, okay, cool. And also shout out to Lisa if you're in the comments, because Lisa here at Siser, she's the one that actually taught me everything. which is very ironic where I ended up today now. And it really was, Lisa was the one that taught me advertising and distribution. She's the one that taught me about the cutters, how to use the printers and all of that kind of stuff, which was really, really cool. So it looks like here on this one, I only have one loss on the actual material, but I'm going to actually chalk this up as maybe when this ripped that it took it off, although this kind of ends like right at the edge. Here nor there, I'm going to chalk it up as my fault for cutting that up. I did notice just in some of these little tighter spaces, again, going back to that completing the full shape or completing the full cut. Some of you know it as an overcut and things like that, but this is a big reason why we added, because like all of these are supposed to be super sharp and most of these are rounded edges now. But this is a really good example of why we decided when we had made the Juliet or when we did Leonardo, not to boast too much about it because this is a comparison, but when we decided to do that and add that overcut feature, it really helped us out. All right, so going into the intricate cut now. Let's see what happens. See what happens, Captain. So a little bit on this edge, it doesn't look like it cut all the way, but that's okay. I was able to pull it without it affecting my design. And then I'm just going through right now and I'm weeding out cavities. And like I said, I'm doing this the same way that I would do on any other material in any other setting, just kind of starting to pick away at it. And if something fails, then we can see it right away. And if something doesn't, then obviously we know that it was a good clean cut. Again, here is a little tiny spot. There we go. Same. Sorry if you guys can't see super well. I tried to zoom in as much as I possibly could so you guys could at least get the gist of the tests and stuff like that that we're running. But again, if you want a full overview and a very extended overview, definitely head over to our YouTube channel. And you'll see the whole test from start to finish. All right, let's see here. And then this is the one that the Cricut had an issue with, and it looks like Silhouette was good. I did try to put as best as I could new blades in here, or only used really in the studio space. Okay, I'm going to say that for the most part, unless I run into anything over here, which I don't see anything that stands out to me, I'm going to call this one A-okay. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So we'll do only half of that, but as far as I see, that's not bad. That's not horrible. It's definitely not bad. Okay, so we got the Silhouette done. We got the Cricut done. Let's see how the Juliet fared against the other machines themselves. Alrighty. Maybe Anna can chime in if she's doing some crafting today at her house. Maybe she can let us know what she's doing. And also, guys, like I said, if you have any questions at all, always feel free to ask away because we'd obviously love to answer them as they come. All right. So let's go ahead and start with the bigger cut. How do you set the overcut feature in Juliet? Ooh, okay. That one was from Marilyn Barber. Let me actually show you that in 1 second here. As soon as I get this weeding done with the Juliet cut file, I will show you that over in Leonardo. Simple enough. You can go and hit the Files tab and then Properties and then hit All Properties. And what that'll allow you to do is it opens up your All Properties menu. You're going to go to the third tab at the top, and then that's where you can actually set that custom overset if you have your software up right now, and you obviously don't want to wait for me to kind of like show you in software. Feel free. So File tab, and then you'll go ahead and you'll click Preferences, and then you'll select All Preferences, and from there, that is where you have access to things like smaller page margins for print and cut. You have things like the overcut feature, how much an actual nudge would move when you actually move by manually element or a design. All of that is available for you. What's up, Adam?
A question here, is the Juliet mat specific?
Meaning specific to the Juliet, or?
I interpreted it as, do you need to use a Juliet specific mat with Juliet?
No. Yeah, that's a great question. That's why I wanted to make sure I clarified for that. So here's the thing. At the end of the day, as far as I know, there's really no cutting mat that is very specific to a machine. Now, I will say there are some plus and minuses to each mat and each machine. So if you're using a Silhouette mat, which happens to be a lot thinner than like a Cricut mat or a Juliet mat. With the Cricut and the Juliet mats are pretty comparable as far as how thick they are. They're pretty similar. But if you were to put a silhouette mat in a Cricut and then use everyday iron-on, you may have to adjust your force to more as opposed to just default. So there's like, sometimes there's little things you have to do, but as far as the actual mat for the Juliet, I mean, those are definitely not specific to one machine or the other. You can use them anywhere, as well as if you like a mat at home. If you prefer to use a silhouette mat, the nice thing is about Juliet is you can customize that cut force by like individual numbers, as opposed to where the Cricut is, one of your hangups is that you can only change it from default to more pressure or less pressure, if that makes sense. All right, just really quickly, I just want to see, I got everything out. Yeah, I mean, I didn't have any issues on this one, so that was good. I didn't even notice any shapes that weren't complete or anything like that, so that was a good thing. All right, I'm going to move on to the intricate cut, and it looks like Adam is like itching at the bit right now. He's chomping at the bit to ask me a question.
Well, it wasn't so much a question, but a couple people pointed out that the scan and cut actually does require a specific mat.
Ooh, that's okay. That's a really good, thank you so much for that. And I do recognize it on the scan and cut mat. Now that you say that, like in my head, I know it to be a thing that they have like almost registration marks all over the mat, don't they? Maybe somebody that is a scan and cut can answer that for me. But yeah, I think that if I'm not mistaken, it has like little registration marks all over the mat. But I will say the one thing that's cool, and what I would love to test with the scan and cut that I've never been able to, again, because I just have never learned the scan and cut personally, is that I do know that there's a print feature, or not a print feature, but like a scan feature. Like you can load an image in there, it'll scan it and all that. So I'm really I'd be curious to know how that works. Have you ever seen it happen in person, Adam?
I actually, one of the first things I was doing here at Siser when I first started was to test out the different craft cutters, and
cool.
Scan and cut was one of them.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what I was doing at the time.
Yeah.
But I do remember the scan feature was pretty cool.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I would definitely love to try to play around with it a little bit just to see. All right. So it looks like here, I mean, other than me going really crazy on this and like picking too hard, there's nothing that I see. No incomplete shapes, no shapes that are rounded off. Everything's pointed that it's supposed to be that I can see anyway. So I haven't had any issues with this one either. So it looks like all three with regular everyday cut settings, it worked pretty well on all three of these machines. And I like that. That's good. So there you go. There's test number one. Now, I do know that in our test with the Cricut Smart Material, and that's why I prompt all of you guys to check out over on our YouTube channel after this live, or maybe you want to pull it up off to the side and watch that while you're watching here. You can simulcast me twice. You can watch me there and you can watch me here. But I do know that when we ran that test, you know, one of the big things that I did is I ran all three of these with Cricut Smart Material. And that's where I saw a little bit more of a complication with some of the weeding, is because that the thickness of that actual carrier sheet on everyday iron-on not only jeopardized the silhouette cut, but it also did that for Cricut itself. And again, we're using Smart Material everyday iron-on. So I was really actually surprised to see those results, but you have to check that out over on the YouTube channel. All right, what's up, Adam?
Is this design in Leonardo?
Oh, yes. Yeah, this design is. This design comes courtesy of our friends over at Creative Fabrica. So this particular one that I am, if you want to do any of these really, and I think it's really cool. It's a nice little floral, like monogram design. This one is definitely available inside Leonardo. All right. And I know Anna's doing like a private one-on-one coaching with Emily right now at her house to teach her all about it, so she can show her this cut file. And hopefully we see a really cool something that you made soon. All right.
Real quick, what material are you using again?
This one right here is just Siser Easy Weed, and I'm using gray. So the reason why I'm using gray too, just so you guys know that there are differences in even heat transfer vinyls that are within the same category. Usually red is an oversaturated color in heat transfer. So it actually can be just a small smidge, couple of microns thicker than that of another heat transfer material. So my big goal was whatever material that I use, I wanted to make sure it was the same across the board. but I decided to go with the Easy Weed Gray just because, number one, it was right there on the shelf, so it was easy for me to grab. No pun intended, easy about everything. But also, I just wanted, again, to make sure that these were all the same and even and everything cut well. So for the first test, it looks like all three of our cuts, they did pretty good. We didn't have any issues. We had a couple little spots here and there that were hangups, but you know what? Let's chalk that up for the time being to user error. Let's just make it a user error thing, and we'll call it a day. But I do think that each of these machines did handle this particular everyday quote unquote iron on reasonably well. Let's see. Good attention, kindergarten. I can do that. Siser's the best material. There you go. Anna said it right herself. So do we have any questions before we move on to the next test? Because this next one is a little bit more, not involved, but is a little bit more to it. We have any questions coming in? Okay, awesome. So, oh yeah, go ahead.
How did design space run for you today?
Okay, so that's actually funny that you mentioned it. And this is the thing. That was the one piece that I was going to just leave off the table and not say anything about. I had it crash twice on me this morning, just kind of getting ready for the day, getting all my cut files in there and things like that. So I don't know if anybody else had it crash today. I did have that happen. Cricut Design Space is a web-based design software. Silhouette has that physical app that's downloaded. I know they also have like a Silhouette store. If Ellie Mae's in here, she can definitely give you a lot of that stuff. But for Leonardo, it's a hybrid software. So the actual design board itself is a physical download or application. And then everything from like the home page down to the My page are all web-based that have to have somebody in the back end updating and things like that. So don't know if that had anything to do with it. Did I have a surge in my network? Again, I'm just trying to be nice to all three. And I'm doing a good job. And I'm 47 minutes in. I haven't said anything nasty yet. So that's good. Thank you for Leonardo. Hey, no problem. We appreciate it. And yeah, we'll talk about that towards the end about Leonardo and all the different softwares and kind of what they give you. All right. So for this next test, what we're going to do is I'm simply just going to run a print and cut file. Okay. And we're going to upload a print and cut file into each of these systems. I have to print each of these separately and I want to cut each of these separately just because I don't want any reason for me to go to cut the file and then go to print on another software and then that jeopardizes the connection and then it's off. I don't want any excuses for why this is off. So I'm just going to keep it as plain Jane as I can, but I am going to keep all my cutting mats and I'm going to keep each of my brands obviously are on the mat or each of my cuts on the mat so that you guys can see by brand which one is doing the best. And also pretty telling thing. I know somebody jumped ahead. How much space you get in each of these print and cut workflows. So, all right, what do we got there? I've used Easy Weed Eco Stretch on Lycra bathers, and it's fantastic. Worn weekly for a year, and it's good as day one. I love that. That's awesome. That's the one thing that I will say. Out of all of this testing that's done, Siser heat transfer materials are truly, I will say, there is no comparison to those. I mean, they are very, very much. I would say that for me, the best in the industry. And that's me taking my Siser hat off for a moment and just creating. That's what I used before I even started here. The only reason I found out about this job is because my wife said, hey, Siser's hiring right now. Did you know that? And I said, well, that's cool, but we can't move to Italy. And then we've even found out that the building was here. So we've always used the brand, and I've used a bunch of other brands and tried a bunch of other things, but I've had the most consistent results with our stuff. And now I'm just lucky enough to be a part of the team. So always have issues with the Silhouette Studios compatibility with Macs when it comes to print and cut. For example, when it prints my stickers, it washes the color out versus Cricut Design Space. Have you noticed any quirks in Leonardo with print and cut? Ooh, that's a really good question. That's actually a really great question. If you go back to our print and cut live that we did a few weeks ago, the Siser After Dark, all things print and cut, I actually showed a side-by-side comparison of a Silhouette print and cut, the same file we're going to use today, of Silhouette, of Cricut, and of us in Leonardo. And it was interesting to see that there is a color variance between the three. Now, for me, I don't know necessarily, because it was just a test, I don't know necessarily what color I was going for, but I could definitely tell the difference. So how they're treating their print manager and their profiling in their softwares, definitely there is a difference there, but what it is, I'm not 100% sure. I can tell you that with Leonardo, you're physically downloading the print driver as well as the full upload driver. It's whatever your computer has access to. From what I've seen with Cricut, you have access to that same menu. So You could probably change some profiling things. Same with Silhouette. I'm imagining you can change some of your profiling as you can with the Juliet. But for that particular test, I ran everything on standard vivid prints. And you can see that the results side by side are actually a little bit different. Okay, I will only buy Siser vinyl. Love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so we're going to hop into Leonardo Design Studio. And what I'm going to actually do really quick before I bring you on, I just want to get a new page for each of these. That's the floral. There is not my PNG. There's my PNG. Okay, and I want to show you actually something that I thought was pretty interesting between all of these softwares. So I'm going to start in Cricut Design Studio, and I'm just going to go ahead and get my print back somehow or another. There we go. Okay, so right here is me making an attempt. Well, now hit make it really quick just so you can see on the print and cut screen. This is me making an attempt to maximize the printable area that I have. Now, each of these shells are a 2 inch by like 1.72. So it's 2 inches wide by like 1.72 long. And as you can see that I get stopped, even though I have an 8.5 by 11 page up, not only does it give me like a 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch margin on both sides, but up in the corners, it does this weird thing where it's like compensating for any registration marks, which I thought was kind of interesting. So for this particular one, right off the rip, we're able to have 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15 shells on one 8.5 by 11 page. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select all of these. We are going to continue this on to our print and cut. I'm going to load up actually right now the printer that I have here. And for this test on all 3 of them, I'm using just the Epson ET3830 printer. I'm going to load up 3 pieces of Easy Color DTV. And just because it's a shameless plug, and I know my boss is technically watching, I'll just give it to you really quick. Easy Color DTV. Do you want full color prints at home only using your desktop printer? Try Easy Color DTV by Siser. Okay, there's my ad. There's my ad. We're good. All right, so now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to take my 8.5 by 11 letter size page with our 15 shells on it, and I'm going to hit send to my printer. Now it says here 4 cut sensor marks and directional arrow will be printed with your design. Perfect. We're going to hit next. And then here is where I can go ahead and find my printer, and I'm going to go with the network series. There we go. And then what I'm going to actually do is turn the bleed off because we don't want to bleed right now. And then what I'm going to, I want to select use system dialog. Once I hit print and we're preparing to actually print, Cricut will actually bring up this little dialog box. Now this is where you can go in, as we were talking about before. This is where you can change your preferences from standard vivid, and all of that kind of stuff. For the speed of this test, I'm going to use just standard because I want to really just get an idea of how the print and cut will operate on each. And then I'm going to select my network printer and I'm just going to hit print. And then in a second here, right now, my printer is going and doing its thing, and I'm going to leave this page up because I'm going to need this for my next step. But at least you can see right here, your print should look like the preview shown here, including 4 sensor marks, directional arrows on the top left corner and pointing up, and at least a 1/2 inch between the sensor marks and material edges. So that means that these sensor marks are a 1/2 inch into the page on an 8.5 by 11 page. So I've already lost a big portion of my design. And let's actually go ahead while we're waiting. We're waiting for this guy to print really quick. Like I said, it's on a network, so it is going a little slow. There we go. Right there, I have my print. We can show you on the overhead. The color in this one, that's halfway decent. I like that. It's pretty decent color. So there you go. You got the color from the Cricut. You also have the print and cut. I'm sorry, the maximizing how much space you can actually use on this. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is throw that right in the upper left-hand corner because that's what Cricut says we have to throw our material, or where we're going to start our cut. Because for Cricut, the origin point is in the upper left-hand corner of your mat, whereas Juliet is in your bottom left-hand corner, as well as Silhouette starts up in that upper left-hand corner itself. So give it a fair shake. Let's make sure there's no bubbles in there. Cool. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right on over to my Cricut. I'm going to hit done on the software so I can move on to the next step. We're going to do everyday iron-on material because this is about the same thickness as a regular material, and now I'm ready to load. So I'm going to go ahead, load my mat in there, hit the load button, keeping it simple. It's going to do its little boop, bop, beep, and dance around just for a second on us to make sure it can measure your mat. And then now that I'm ready to hit play, we're just going to simply hit play. There we go. So right now what the Cricut is doing is it's using that optical eye, and it's trying to sense, currently right now, it's trying to sense where the line starts and stops. And that's kind of where the machine knows, hey, there's a registration mark. Now what I did do as well on the Maker 4, or not the Maker 4, I'm sorry, the Explorer 4, what I did do is I did try some laminate sheets as well, and it didn't fare as well as just the standard DTV. So that's why I opted into just using that for this particular test itself. So we're already about 30 seconds into registering it, and now we're finally getting to actually cutting our material out in real time. So we're going to let that go. Do we have any questions coming in while we're waiting for that one to finish?
There was a question earlier asking if Leonardo can connect to a silhouette machine. I know you touched on that a little bit earlier, so maybe just to reiterate. Yeah.
So and I appreciate that. Thank you guys for asking that question. Yes. So we cannot at this current moment in time connect to a Silhouette or a Cricut or any other machine right now through Leonardo Design Studio. However, as I mentioned before, we're always looking to improve. We're always looking into individual options and things that you can have at home that hopefully improve your workspace. So that's always something that we're always looking at. And the big question for us was to answer first. So you guys have asked for things like text kerning, like nesting and other tools. So we kind of prioritize that list into what you guys ask us for. But I definitely know that that's been one that has been talked about on more than one occasion. So again, very near future. You never know what happens, but for the time being, it is a discussion. I just want to make sure that we're all being clear about that. Okay, so I got my Cricut, print and cut is done. I'm going to leave it on the mat sitting off to the side. The next one we're going to do is we're going to hop over into Silhouette Studio. And again, I'm using the basic version of this. Let's go ahead. Oh, I'm in Cricut. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, I have some of those same registration marks or similar registration marks are here. So far, I could build about 3, 6, 9, 12 shells, but what I want to do is I'm going to actually move this up to the top of the page as much as I can and see if I can squeeze in one more row here of shells. And if not, that's okay, because I do have a slight contour on these as well. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and ungroup all of my designs. I click these individually, and let's see if we can just create one more row. So there you guys go. I'm right at the edge right now, and I'm overlapping my design. So I'm going to chalk this one up to I can fit 3, 6, 9, 12 on one page. So let's go ahead and group all those back together. Make sure that we center those as well so that they're just centered into our page and make our lives a little bit easier. And then the next step is I'm going to hit send. Now, what I want to do first is I want to obviously run a print. So I'm going to go ahead and start my print process by clicking the print button. And then we're just going to select print. This will bring up, again, same exact print driver. Remember, like I said, these are all locally downloaded printers, so it should be accessible for you. I'm going to go into my preferences, make sure we're keeping standard color, hit print, and then that thing is starting here in a moment, I think. There we go. All right, so the printer's actually going right now, and then what we'll be able to do is once that print is complete, we can go ahead, throw it on our mat, and then cut it, and then we can go and start on the Juliet itself. Adam, you looking like you got a question here. What's up?
Someone mentioned that they were having some trouble sending a design from Leonardo. It sounded like it was kind of like hanging up.
Okay.
I wasn't sure what the issue may be there, so I suggested reaching out to support at SiserNA.com.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I just see it right now. I just wanted to make sure that if it was something we could answer. Yeah, if you are having any, whether it's network connectivity issues, if you're having any print issues, things of that nature, always reach out to our awesome support team. I know Adam can throw up the banner really quick for you guys, but it's support at SiserNA.com. Is where you can actually send in that information. But also, if you're having problems directly in Leonardo, we also have that chat line too. So utilize the live chat, talk to our awesome support team here at Siser, and they'll get you up and running in no time. All right, so I've got my second print ready to go. Oops, right here. We can do a quick little side-by-side on the color itself. Looks good. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do, like I said, same thing, same rule applies. We're going to find that square, that square registration mark. We're going to lay that down on the mat, and then we're just going to start the actual cutting process here right about now. So let's go ahead now. The one thing I will say, one mistake that I made in testing when we did the original, hey DB, thanks for stopping by and hanging out with us now. But one thing that I did realize when we were doing the original test during the actual YouTube video is that one thing Silhouette has, but is not really prominent, but I will say the Cricut definitely has, and the Juliet definitely has, is a guide strip on where to start your mat loading on the edge. There is a little tiny arrow here that allows you to see where to start your mat on the actual Silhouette. However, it's the same color as the body of the machine. So I completely missed it the first time I did anything. So as a brand new user, think about that a little bit. That is potentially a hang up for you, or could be, but also it might not be the end of the world, because I was able to kind of figure out the solution right away. So let's go ahead and find that little mark that I need to line up to. There we go. We're going to start loading our material. And then now what I'm going to do inside Silhouette Studio is I'm going to keep everything heat transfer smooth. Everything is good. I am going to keep the force the exact same, and then we are just going to send this, and we're going to send this one as is, because we don't want it to cut mirrored, even though it's not mirrored on our sheet as well. So giving me a couple quick checks, and then now we're ready to actually send this on over, and let's see kind of what happens. So same thing, it's registering all of those little registration marks using that optical eye sensor. So far, we haven't had any failures with either the Cricut Explorer 4 or the Cameo 5. So we're halfway decent. There we go. We're starting to cut away now. Cool. And as that one's cutting, as you could see in software too, I cranked the speed up to 30, whatever that means in Silhouette software versus Cricut speed and versus what our speed configuration is. But this is as fast as the machine actually can go itself. So you can kind of see that in real time as well. What other questions do we have? My biggest problem with the portrait when I first got it, where do I put the mat in? Hey, that's actually a pretty valid one. I think that a lot of these, that's the other thing that I will say, as we're going through each of these machines and we're doing all of these tests, one thing to talk about is also the setup and the new user. I will say, out of all three of them, for us, we have videos in software, we have videos out of software, we have an inspiration tab, we have a design library, we have many tools to get you started from start to finish. Cricut is very specific on how they want you to set up their machines and making sure you're calibrating and all of that. So as soon as you open the box, it wants you to go through each step and doesn't really let you go past the screen until you've gotten through a particular step. But once you're there, you're really structured to, you got like a small inspiration tab that you can utilize, as well as a lot of creators actually make in their software and will make designs. However, not everything is commercial free. Actually, majority of things are not commercial free unless you're paying for it, as well as you're using other people's artwork that they may be selling on other platforms and things like that. But that's not that big of a deal. I really don't see that to be much of a problem. I think for the brand new user, they set you up well. And obviously, their marketing team is massive, so they have a lot of content out there from their company that you can find over on YouTube as well. Whereas the Silhouette 2, for the brand new user, just unboxing this and kind of doing what I call the husband method of testing, where I just open the box and start playing with stuff without actually reading a direction or two. This one was the most difficult out of the three for me. And I've used the Silhouette before, but even trying to like remember some of it, this one was the most difficult, being that the guide strip is not hidden, but it's not really super prominent. You can move your pinch wheels. There's in software on the basic version. From what I understand, and please somebody from in the Silhouette world correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that in Silhouette Basic, without a business edition or without any updated software editions, I'm almost positive you can't upload an SVG into the software. I thought it was only PNG or only certain file types, but I thought SVG was excluded. If that's the case, because I tried to upload a couple and it wouldn't work, you know, that's a big problem because most of you guys are designing with SVGs. Now with that, you can always save a PNG and you can bring it in, trace it, and all of that kind of stuff too. But if that is a thing that you guys know is a fact for all you Silhouette folks in the group, because again, I want to be very transparent about my experience and me testing these things, that's kind of a hang up for me because most of what I'm creating are vectored images. I do some print and cut, but now that we have easy transfers here by Siser, so definitely check out our easy transfer page on our website. I do DTF transfers for some of those print and cut items as well now, especially when I'm mass producing them. So for me, the SVG thing is kind of important. Let's see. Best live stream I've watched in a while. Oh, thank you so much, Kim. I appreciate that. That's a very sweet compliment. We try. That's all I'm saying. We try. All right, here's my silhouette. I'm going to keep that on the mat. And then let's get into Juliet and Leonardo Design Studio. So I'm going to hop in. Now, we already said that in Cricut, or in Silhouette to start, 3, 6, 9, 12 that we could fit. Inside Cricut Design Space, want to cancel that cut. Cancel. We know that we can fit 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So a little bit more space for print and cut and a little bit more page utilization. But let's now go over to Leonardo Design Studio. And as you can see, we're a little bit more robust in how far those margins can get or how small those margins could get, which allows us for a larger group of designs. And just so we're all on the same page, let me ungroup that, click it, and you can see 2 inches by 1.758 inches. It's the exact same size as all the other pages. But on this one, and actually what I'm going to go ahead and do is organize some of these, and I'm going to purposely take some away. Because right now I can cram 26 items onto this one page of these exact seashells. So that is, you know, that's pretty big, especially when we consider this like sticker making. That's a pretty prominent thing when we're sticker making. And also too, just for the setup purposes, I'm going to take away the page marks. Let's eliminate the print and cut. And let me actually take away the print and cut design. Let's actually go ahead and eliminate a row because we know that even with that, we still have 20 of these that we can cut. This will give us a little bit more space in between each of these items because there's a small contour. And then we're going to convert these right back to a print and cut here in a second. Now, the reason why I'm doing it this way and I'm not going to cut all 25 of those is because even I know that sometimes less is more, and making sure that we have enough ample space to use on a page is more important to me than making sure I can cram everything in just to prove, you know, a software wrong. I don't think that's always so fair. So let's go ahead and we're going to change that page size, 8.5 by 11, snap those page marks. And right now you can see we still have plenty. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 20 on there. And I'm just going to group these all together and I'm going to center them. And now the last thing I'm going to do is just add that cut line back. So right there, I got my print and cut. We're going to go ahead and hit apply. And then now we are ready to get going and actually send this on over to our printer. So let me go ahead and, what did I just do here? Crapola. Okay, hold on one second here. I just messed something up. Alrighty, there we go. Okay, we're back. Now, let me go ahead and hit send design. And then now I'm going to select my desk. Oh, I'm not even showing you. I'm sorry. I switched over to me because I was so ready to like get the print done. I'm so sorry, guys. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and find again that same Epson that we're working with. I already have my print size set to 8.5 by 11. We're not making any copies. We don't need to mirror. The big difference between us and the other folks as well is that we actually separate the cut file and the actual print file itself. So we're going to go ahead and send this on over to our printer. And again, I will go to properties menu. Everything's still standard. We haven't changed anything yet. Let that go ahead and print. And now I can bring you guys back to me. Sorry about that. All right, so this is getting ready to print right now. Come on, catch up. There we go. Like I tell my kids, come on, Mustard, catch up. All righty. Do we got any questions going? Let's say, well, I'm impressed. No, I don't. Cortez, thank you so much. You actually make things look a lot easier than I do. Sometimes I'm taking like the scenic route around to get to the destination. But thank you, thank you, thank you. yeah, that's a pretty big one for me. I mean, I know I kind of glossed over that, but having that large amount of print and cut margin space, it's way more profound when you see the side by side comparison of the actual print page than it is in software. So that's why I'm excited to show you. So there's my prints for Leonardo Design Studio. Let's go on over to the overhead, load this up on the mat. So if this is something that's important to you guys at home of print and cut, making sure that all of that works appropriately, then maybe you want to take a look at Leonardo Design Studio and, you know, the Juliet or the Romeo high def cutter. There we go. So there's my color. You can see my color's pretty decent. Sorry about this. I blame this on Emily. I think Anna took this mat home and then Emily ended up making a mark on it, but it's fine. Alrighty, so let's go ahead. Adam and I are getting a kick out of this today. Hi, Emily, our friend. We're just messing with you. And it's all Anna's fault, so you can yell at her about it. Okay. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just loading that blade into the bottom left registration mark. Now, as you've already seen between the Cricut, the Silhouette, and the Juliet, auto load the Cricut, auto load the Silhouette. A lot of the reason why, too, that's a possibility to auto load those as well is the fact that optical eye, that mat needs to be put into a position so that it can start its process and actually start registering your registration marks. So by auto loading the mat, we'll always ensure that it's fixed in that same exact position. For us here at Siser, we have a high definition camera in our print and cut. So what that does is it has a little bit further angle of view. So even if you're a little bit off of that registration mark, as some of you may have experienced, it'll still try to catch that registration mark. And in the event that it fails, which I want to go ahead and send this on over right about now, in the event that this actually were to fail on us, the other benefit is I can fix the problem a lot faster. I haven't lost a full page. So we'll see what happens. Let's go ahead, make sure that is registering. That one is good to go. So right here, this is a good example. We have a little bit of failure on that top registration mark, but once it actually stops and it beeps at me and says, hey, we need to keep going. As you guys know, I can go ahead and click the screen and there's a little crosshair closer to the registration mark, hit OK. And just like that, it'll go ahead and find my page and it'll start cutting away for me. So let's go and take a look at that. It looks like it's going pretty good. Like. Awesome, awesome. And as you can see too, like with the Juliet, super fast. The production side of it is quick as well. So it really helps to kind of speed up the process for us. I get really enamored with and watching the actual print and cut happen in real time as well. All right. Whoops. All right, what other questions do we have here?
No questions currently,
Cool.
but a couple of people are pointing out how big the difference is and how much less waste there is.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is there's much less waste and we'll be able to see the side by side again comparison of all of them and see how these all kind of shake out. And I have a cliffhanger for the group too, so no big deal. All righty. There we go. So we're donezo. We got all three done. We have our Juliet cut. We have our Cricut cut. And we have our Silhouette. Okay, so I want to show you all three of these pages side by side so you can really get an idea of how much space you're saving when you go from one machine to the next. And this is all three machines. This is not just because of the Juliet. So here is, there we go, that one, and that one. So these two right here, this is my Silhouette cut file, or yeah, this is my Silhouette one. Sorry, I had to remember registration marks. This is my Silhouette file. This right here is my Cricut file. And then directly next to it, that right there is my Juliet file. So this right here shows you what Leonardo Design Studio can output, what Cricut can maximize and output, and then also what Silhouette can maximize and output. So a lot of material saving with all three of these machines, which is, I think, is pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. All righty. So you guys have seen a print and cut test. You've seen an actual cut test. Let's go to any additional questions that you have before we have one last reveal here from our buddy Landon because he's done with his photo. And then we can kind of wrap this thing up.
Just to clarify again, because we got the question one more time. Can you use any mat in Juliet, or is it Siser specific?
No, 100% can use any mat. I can grab a Cricut mat if I want to, and I can throw that right into the Juliet. Load it on up. This one will work just fine with any of your cut files. You don't have to, because the Cricut mat is similar to, like, in thickness as per se as the Siser mat. You actually don't need to adjust your cut settings. Silhouette mat, I will say for me personally, actually, Anna, you can chime in on this one too, because I know you use the silhouette mat a lot in the Juliet. But for the silhouette mat, I haven't had to change any cut settings. I don't know if Anna has or not, but the nice thing is, because it's a little bit thinner, it is really easy to be able to load into your machine without even having to move the pinch wheels. So it's nice, it's a little bit flexible, but really it's up to you of what you think is best for you. All right, what other question? Do we have any other ones? All right, cool. So here's the thing. We've done 3 tests, right? We've done an intricate cut test, which all 3 machines fared pretty well with the Cricut and the Silhouette. There's a couple little hangups here and there, but again, we're chalking it up as user error. Take those or leave those however you want. We've done a speed test. We obviously saw that the Juliet came in first, Cricut came in second, Silhouette came in third. So if you're looking for speed in your production, that's a really important thing for you as well. Well, there's that test. And we also did a print and cut test. But here's the challenge. For anybody that's in this live that's not currently in the Siser North America support group, please put up the support group banner if you can really quick, Adam. Oh, sorry, Emily. You have to join the Siser North America support group after this live. And the results, the actual peel test and results of all 3 of these cuts, I will post in the group. So that's your incentive. You have to join the group and say, and all I want you to do is, if you're new to the group and this is the first time, don't jump too quickly. But if you're brand new to the group and this is your first time, don't even worry about filling out the questions. Just say, I want to see the print and cut results. I want to see how many of you are interested in it. You guys, I love that you guys will post and comment. I will definitely make sure. Anna's watching, so she'll make sure that I make sure. But I will make sure to post the results here of the 3 different print and cut results for you in the group. But you guys got to join the group. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I'll give you guys the next 12 hours to join the group. So you have all night tonight. Anybody that's just waking up, you got all in the morning to do it. And then at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, I'm going to post a photo of these 3 and what those print and cut results look like. Now, I will say, just off watching them cut, they all actually look like they cut pretty on point and halfway decent all the way through. So I'm excited to show you that, but you got to join the group to see the results. Plain and simple. What do we got coming up for the next After Dark, Adam? Do you remember? Let me look at the list really quick. Okay, for the next After Dark, I want to just give you guys that info too. If you give me 2 more seconds, we'll give you some information before we let you all go. So next After Dark looks like it's going to be June 4th, and we're doing a layered offset design. That's going to be fun. Okay, that one I'm really, really excited about. I'm going to show you how to build those offset contours. We're going to be using things like Strip Flock Pro. So our buddy Cortez is in the chat right now. Came up, or perfected, should I say, the Strip Flock Pro method. So we're going to show you how to do that. I also want to show you things like the fake knockout method, anything that has to do necessarily with a contour. And a special request came in actually today from our intern, Myrna, who does an awesome, awesome job, has been doing a lot of our short form content. So a lot of hearts and love for her in the comments because she's been absolutely crushing it. She actually prompted me and said, hey, you know what? People want to know how to add a bleed to their print and cut and change the color of that bleed. We can do that. So make sure that you're there for the next one. What did I say? June 4th, 7 p.m. Eastern time will be the next After Dark, where we're going to go through anything that has a contour to it, or anything that we can add a contour or build a contour to. So that'll be a really, really fun one. Landon, you want to show them your artwork on the overhead? Let's see it. This is a fresh print and color right before. We're just right in this square here. Bingo, nailed it. There you go. He's added to the live. I love it. Very cool. And then what we'll do too next, we'll do maybe a kids craft at some point too next. All righty. So Do we have any final questions coming in?
There was one more question. Okay. In Leonardo, is there a way to draw just a straight line?
Just a straight line?
Just a straight line.
Guys, yes, of course there's a way to draw a straight line. Let's do this. Let's go over to Leonardo really quick. Oh, you know what? There was one other Leonardo question that I said I was going to show. Will you try to find that and remind me of it really quick? So there's a couple different ways. If you're a Leonardo Design Studio basic user, you have these 3 tools that are here, which is your pen tool, your sketch tool, and if you're a pro user, you get a vector brush. Well, the sketch tool allows you to basically freehand draw in software. So if you do have something like a Wacom tab or a graphic design tablet of some kind, you can definitely utilize this tool to draw lines in the software. If you're looking for like more of just straight lines, point to point, that pen tool is your point to point editor. And then what you can do is create basically a large line. And then right there, you can see you can draw straight lines inside Leonardo. The other option that you have as well is that if you are a Leo Pro user, you have this vector brush, where not only can you do a circle type tip, you can do a square tip in software. You can also change from a straight line to more of a freehand line, as well as adjust the actual size and thickness of that vector line. So that right there is a really cool feature as well. How long and wide can you make a banner inside Romeo and Juliet? Ooh, that's a really good question. Cindy, actually, if I'm not mistaken, did you ask this in a group? I don't know, it was like a few days ago or it was like a week ago, something like that, of that, trying to maximize the actual space wide. Here's the thing. Inside Leonardo Design Studio, you can go a max of, let's just do it really quick. You can go a max of 25 inches wide by 5 yards. So what I say for any banner people, do one of 2 things, okay? Number 1, you can simply build your artboard. This one's a little bit backwards, so bear with me. If I want to create a 25 by, let's say, 30-inch, no, let's go even further, 48-inch banner, I can design my banner sideways if I want, or the easiest way to do it is just grab a square, build your square to whatever size banner you want. So we'll do 60-inch banner by 48 inches. Or no, that's too weird of a shape for a banner. Let's do 30 inches. So there we go. So there's my banner right inside my software. I'm going to center that, and all I'll do is go to my layers tab, and I can do one of 2 things. I can either lock that, so then that's not going to move, and I can just design it right to the banner itself, or I can go over to my color picker again, and I can change this from a fill to a stroke, and now I can design within that banner itself. Okay. So a lot of times too, when I'm templating things for myself, like let's say I was going to do a banner, what I would actually do is I would change this and keep it a fill, change that to white. And for me personally, so I know the outline, I would just build a quick little contour around it that's black, so that when I bring that in software, I can see, or I can grab those 2, I can group them together here, and then I can lock those into place, but at least I can see the border or the dimension of my banner itself. Okay, so that's just so you know, there's 2 different ways you can do it. You can do it the Patrick way, where my brain works, and I'm just like, oh, I'll just look like this on my computer and design. Or you can just build a simple shape, create that banner template for yourself, and then once you're ready, you can go ahead, like Missy Elliott said, flip it down and reverse it. You can go ahead and rotate that 90 degrees, and then it will still be within the cutting area or the actual artboard for you, so you can get on to cutting or printing or whatever you're going to do with your banner itself. Cool? Alrighty. What other questions we got?
I found that question from earlier, but I think you kind of just showed it. It was, how do you change the artboard size in Leonardo?
Oh, yep. Yeah. So that was, I just wanted to make sure to go back to that and just make sure I respond to it. So artboard and cutting mat size, you're just going to go to artboard and cutting mat. Again, if you have a cutting mat on your, on your platform already, or in Leonardo on the design board, sorry, got to go back and Adam, you got to tell me these things. Actually, I blame Landon this time. You should have yelled at me. So on your artboard and cutting mat, you can change to a cutting mat, and then you can change the actual physical size of your cutting mat from a few dimensions we have. You can also change it to a material roll, and then change the dimensions manually as well to whatever you want. 25 inches is your max for any Romeo registered users, and then 5 yards is your max for as far as length that you can design inside the software. But the other thing is too, like I said, you can always build those custom artboards just to make your life a little bit easier if you want. But again, it's up to you. And if you want to make a custom cutting mat, I know it sounds really weird, but some people may. If I go to a material roll and change that to 24 inches wide by, let's say, 24 inches wide, which we have a cutting mat, all I have to do is material roll, change the width, and then click cutting mat. And as you can see, I now have a 24 by 24 mat. It'll select generic, but if I went any different size, like let me go 30 inches long and then hit cutting mat, now you can see it's changed it to a custom mat size for me inside the software. So many, many different ways that you can design inside Leonardo Design Studio. So, alrighty. Any other last minute questions? Anything like that? This has been a fun one. I appreciate this one, guys, a lot, because with us here at Siser, we really, really took the time, energy, and effort to try to provide you something of value, whether that was with the cutting machine, whether that was with the education that we're doing, the graphic design that we're doing, and everything basically from the, I mean, you guys hear me talk about them all the time. I don't have to tell you guys, but Johan, from the top down in our company, everybody is in such an alignment with each other, and the way that we create, the way that we make, the way that we present our business and our company to you guys is really what is top of mind for us. So we love the feedback that you get. Love what we did with this cutter. I mean, Johan's brainchild, we were able to kind of make this into fruition. So couldn't do it without you, buddy. Yeah, and the whole team here. So I'm really, really excited for this live. I'm really excited for you guys to watch the video. So head over to YouTube at Siser North America over on YouTube. Check out our YouTube video on going through this print and cut process. It's broken down into chapters so you can stop and start and all of that stuff. But yeah, so let's see. No, Patrick. Mind-blowing moment tonight, and he got mind-blowing thing from Siser earlier this week. That's what we're looking for. That's all we're trying to do, is create awesome content for you guys all the time. All right, but that's it. So what we're going to do from here is, do we have any other last minute questions?
One last one.
Okay.
Can you download the software free to play with?
Oh, come on. You guys ask me this every week and I love it. And if it's a new person, thank you. But I love, because a lot of times, like some of our normal or regular viewers will prompt it too, because I know you guys love the fact that we can. So with that, let me go ahead and bring down a page really quick. Here we go. Alrighty, sorry, I got to scale all of this stuff really quickly. All right, so all you have to do is type in www.siserna.com. And then from there, all you're going to do is find the Leonardo tab. You can either do About Leonardo Design Studio. You can select a download the latest version or compare basic and pro here. But if you go ahead and hit download latest version, it'll take you right to the account.Siser page where you can download, whether you're a Windows user, Mac user. Makes your life really easy. You can start playing with it today. And then you can make the decision on whether or not you want to obviously upgrade to pro. You know, just to give yourself a few more tools and features and functions and all of that kind of fun stuff right in software. So, all right, let's see. The second that somebody said before, this has truly been the best show down. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Again, wanted to keep it as, you know, honest and as transparent as possible. Didn't want any smoke and mirrors. Didn't want to blow smoke for anybody. We just wanted to show you what we can do. But yeah, and then also to Kristen, nice, a lot of really, really nice shout outs. Delonda Ford, Atlanta Vinyl, Courtney Brinkner, Ellie Mae, all of our brand partners that have taken this journey with us and done these things with us. We appreciate you guys always. Anything else? Cool. All right. You know where to go. SiserNorthAmerica.com. Download the software today. Check out our support group. Make sure you're in it 10 a.m. tomorrow Eastern time. I'm going to post this photo of the peel results. Also, make sure that you're following us on all social platforms, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Make sure you're following us on Facebook. Make sure that you're joining that support group. I'm going to say it once again because there's something, guys, I'm basically telling you as people are starting to drop out, I might do a giveaway tomorrow. So be there. Make sure that you're in the group. I might do a group-specific giveaway. You never know. But other than that, you can always find us at Siser everywhere. Until next time. Oh, we'll give a quick shout-out to our coloring extraordinaire and our helper today, Landon, my son, for helping out today. So round of applause for the kid. All righty. So with that said, as I always say, with further ado, a doer or do, we will see you next time. Happy creating, everybody. Bye, everyone. You keep waving because I got to hit the end stream. He's still waving, so I can hit the end stream. All right, bye guys.
Bye.